At it again, and it seems like somebody is a little upset. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new. Yes, make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. If you were subscribed previously, you might be unsubscribed now. I've been unsubscribed from certain channels. And also make sure your notifications are still turned on to all. All right? And watch this video to the end. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. Now let's dive in.
First, lawyers for Hunter Biden have sent cease and desist letters to Donald Trump, alleging the presidential candidate's statements could lead to harm or injury for Hunter Biden's family. According to reporting by ABC News, the cease and desist order says, in part, we're just one social media message away from another incident. Mr. Trump's words have caused harm in the past and threaten to do so again if he does not stop.
Earlier this week, Donald Trump took to Truth Social and slammed prosecutors for their deal with Hunter Biden on tax charges, saying, in part, Weiss is a coward. He gave out a traffic ticket instead of a death sentence. Hunter Biden pled guilty to 2 counts of willful failure to pay taxes as part of the deal. He agreed to be charged, but not prosecuted for purchasing a handgun during the time he was using drugs. Biden also paid out more than $200,000 in taxes. The deal infuriated Republicans who alleged the president's son received special treatment. The DOJ is pushing back on those claims, saying the U.S. attorney had complete control over the case. So this has devolved into quite a mess, and it turns out that no one's happy, which is an unsurprising result. Sure, Michael, what do you make of it all? I
mean, look, I have to tell you, as someone with a ton of firearms, I own a production company that specializes in action-oriented and firearms-related content, and I can tell you, if a regular person, Jess, did what Hunter Biden did, they would be facing at least 3 to 5 years in federal prison.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, right? That's it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I mean, this stuff is ridiculous. Now, I wouldn't have an issue with someone getting if that happened to everybody, but that doesn't happen to everybody. Most people don't get a slap on the wrist. Most people get that click clank, door slammer behind you treatment. That's what most people get. So now all of a sudden, I just this stuff. You just can't make this up, man. You just can't make this up. But it's only going to make for a better grand finale in 2024 when it is announced and your next president of the United States of America, Donald Trump. It's just going to make that even more spectacular, right? Because of everything that's going on, all of this, unfair treatment, allegedly, of course, allegedly. It's just going to make it even more spectacular. All of the liberal tears, the leftist tears, I should say, sweet revenge.
The only reason the president's son isn't going to prison is because he's the president's son. And I don't think anyone has to guess about that.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I would say this is nothing new, and I think a lot of folks, on the right now are quite upset, saying this is something that's exclusive to Democrats or exclusive to the Biden family. But in the United States for quite some time, any powerful family with ties to multinational corporations or otherwise is pretty much protected when it comes to facing any kind of accountability for actions that other citizens in the United States that are not members of powerful or elite families would be persecuted for, would face the maximum sentence for. And so it feels like nothing new, but it does feel like there's a bit of a fire under Republicans right now, and I would like to see some kind of precedent set to prevent this kind of corruption from happening in our justice system in the future across the board. And I'm not sure that that's a likely outcome of this, because it seems to me that they're just happy the Biden family is facing some kind of accountability here.
I mean, look, Jess, let's think about this scenario. If it were Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka Trump, the mainstream media conglomerates would have a field day persecuting Trump, going after Republicans, saying this is why you have to get rid of them from the White House. You have to get rid of them from power because there was a consistent pattern, right, of questionable ethical behavior, questionable legal behavior. But it's Hunter Biden. So we're going to sweep it under the rug. We're going to ignore it. We're going to ignore him driving 170 plus miles an hour in his Porsche. with a crack pipe in his hand, if we're going to ignore all of those things because
Allegedly.
he happens to be the son of the president that we like. The hypocrisy in that is why so many Americans don't trust the mainstream media on the left or the right, because they believe that they're more interested in peddling a narrative that they want versus telling the American people the truth, and that's a problem.
Man, I like this guy. I like this guy. This guy knows his stuff right here, man. Listen, I don't know who this gentleman is. But shout out to that brother, okay? Whomever you are, shout out to you, okay? Matter of fact, let me see if I can find his name. Let me see. Shermichael Singleton. Shermichael. My brother Shermichael. It's a very interesting name, Shermichael. Shermichael Singleton. Shermichael Singleton. Shermichael Singleton. Say that fast 5 times fast. Mr. Shermichael, you, my brother, do some incredible work, doesn't he? I mean, he was spot on. Absolutely spot on. If this was anybody with the last name Trump, oh my goodness. Had that cocaine have been found in the Trump White House, oh my goodness. But once again, this is all just going to make an even better grand finale in 2024 when Trump is announced a new president, because nobody's going to believe the media whenever they start bashing Trump in 2025, because you know they're going to. Oh my God, Trump this, Trump that. You know, the same old song and dance that they did the last time. Oh my goodness, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. And nobody's going to pay attention to him anymore, because you let it slide when the cocaine was found in the White House when Joe Biden was in there and didn't really want to say anything. As a matter of fact, you were making jokes. Let's check this out blow by blow. Like you were making jokes about it, okay? But Trump just happens to just walk a little slow one day down a slippery ramp, and it's the end of the world. Oh my goodness, Trump is getting old. Trump is getting frail. What is happening? But you see Joe Biden tripping and falling off of anything and everything, over sandbags, off a bike, upstairs of a plane. As a matter of fact, I think they even switched his entrance on the plane to some shorter stairs, so he didn't have to walk up the long boys. I'm just saying. And nobody says anything about it. But Uncle Trump just walks down the ramp slow, as all of us would. Right? People half of Trump's age would walk down a wet ramp slowly. That's just common sense. And dress shoes, really? That's common sense. I'm not about to slip and bust my ass in front of y'all. You think I'm a fool? If that's the case, then what's Joe Biden? Okay, let the church say amen. All right.
Yeah, I think the only major difference between the Trump family and the Biden family is that we had Ivanka as an advisor to the president. We had Jared Kushner in a cabinet position, and even Eric Trump being involved, and so Don Jr. as well. You had a lot of the children actually deeply involved in the administration in a way that Hunter Biden is not. However, I would like to see similar accountability for Jared Kushner's dealing with Saudi families, Saudi royalty, Saudi corporations. If we're going to hold Hunter Biden accountable, I think we should absolutely be holding the Trumps accountable as well. But the mainstream media's failure to report on corruption as a whole and what the elite families in the United States are doing, I think is really telling. And I think it is absolutely what sows distrust in not only mainstream media, but the FBI and the DOJ as well. Their inability to hold people who are powerful accountable, I think, means people will trust our Department of Justice a lot less. I think it's why a lot of people are not trustworthy of the FBI, or don't see the FBI as a trustworthy entity, given that they didn't investigate a lot of the whistleblower complaints when it came to the Biden family's dealings with Burisma. And so all of these things.
Quick question. Answer in the comment section. What is the perfect way to fix the FBI, the DOJ, CIA, all of these, three-letter organizations? What is the best way? Is it just to completely get rid of them for good? Well, then who, investigates, actual, federal crimes and things of that nature is my next question. Do we fire everybody and rehire folks? Do we make a new organization that has everything combined into one? Do you give Congress more oversight of, these organizations so Congress could actually make decisions? Or really legitimately check them instead of having them in, little boring hearings and things of that nature. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know, what is the best method of ensuring that equal justice persists, right? If you do the crime, you do the time. It don't matter who you are. If you're Trump, if your last name is Biden, if your last name is Joe Blow, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. It doesn't matter. Equal justice. Justice is blind. How do we fix it? What's the legitimate way to actually get that done? Let me know in the comment section, please.
I think are exactly what sows mistrust in our media and our politics. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that leads them to think, well, we haven't been held accountable in the past. The public doesn't trust us anyway, so we might as well continue business as usual.
I mean, look, we are pawns in their game, and they're pulling the strings. And I think about the quote from the comedian George Carlin, who's no longer with us, and he said, if it's the American dream because you'd have to be asleep to actually believe it. And I think for so many Americans, that quote, as cynical and comical as it may have been, there's a lot of truth into what he said. And I think when you look at whether it's Hunter Biden or the children of the former president, Donald Trump, a lot of people do ask themselves, if I were in this position, or if my kids did something similar, or if I did something similar, would I have the same level of justice as these individuals who belong to the wealthiest and most powerful in our country? And the honest answer to that question is no. And so I agree with you in terms of having some level of consistency in terms of how we pursue justice. But I have to say this, Hunter Biden, and we know this from whistleblower reports, have made tons of money from his father when he was vice president, and more than likely is still making money today while his father's president. Where is the media's attention on that? Why aren't they focusing on that? You brought up Jared Kushner. There have been so much focus, Jess, on Jared Kushner, so much focus on Ivanka. Again, with Hunter Biden, you do not see that same level of consistency.
Right. I think what I'm interested in is you have Republicans like James Comer and Chuck Grassley saying a lot about what was exposed in the House Oversight Committee, which, the Democrats on that committee said that they didn't want all of the documents to be public, and that's fine. But it allowed Chuck Grassley to go on television every night and speak in anything but absolutes, to say that it's very likely we're seeing this. We see something along the lines of this, and not really making clear that there's any concrete evidence that Hunter Biden did in fact get those $5 million payments from Burisma. And so it put people in this situation where any outcome of what the case would be, what he pled guilty to, and what the deal would ultimately be, it's going to seem like a lot less when you have someone like Chuck Grassley on mainstream television basically saying they have a smoking gun, and then ultimately this is a deal that's made with lawyers when it comes to the Hunter Biden case. And so the way all of that played out, I think, was really unfavorable for the Biden family and Democrats. I think in the interest of democracy, they should have made very clear that this is going to go down in a similar way to other corruption cases have gone down when you've had Congress investigate, which is we'll disclose everything that we have at the end of the case, and we're not saying anything until then. Chuck Grassley going on mainstream media and hinting at what they found evidence-wise, I think made this a bigger mess than it needed to be.
I mean, look, that's a fair point, but I got to tell you this. Wesley Snipes, Jess, wishes his father was Joe Biden. So, Jess, what about Trump's statements on their face you believe Hunter Biden is saying that are so dangerous? I mean, what do you think? Because he's going after Trump. You have his lawyers tweeting or filing a cease and desist, but this guy's a presidential candidate. So what do they expect here?
I couldn't speak to what they expect here. I think the Trump family being outraged about the Biden case is kind of rich. It's kind of throwing stones in glass houses. I think Trump has honestly gotten off easy. I think Merrick Garland could have prosecuted him and pressed charges, day one in office for Trump inciting an insurrection. So I would like to see, justice applied to any family that uses their power in a way that is bad for the American people. But that's not the DOJ that we have, and it goes both ways. And so when I think about the Biden family and what's going down here, yeah, I think Hunter Biden absolutely needs to be further investigated. And we actually need some real justice brought about here for the corruption with Burisma. But I think what's going on is they've said that they've found the ties and they've been able to follow that money, but I don't think they really have, as much as Chuck Grassley has led them to believe, or has led all of the American people to believe. And so I'd really like to see more prosecution on that. The handgun case and Hunter Biden using drugs, I could care less about, but when it comes to corruption and heads of state and their families, colluding with multinational corporations, that's the corruption I'm really interested in them passing some legislation to prevent.
Well, look, I'll throw this out quickly, Jess. If it's your child, what would you do? If it were you, what would you do? We'll have more Rising right after this.
She was tweaking. Really, really tweaking. Shout out to Sher Michael. Shout out to the brother Sher Michael. He was on point. Absolutely on point. She said he incited a riot. What? Where? When? He said peacefully protest. But we're not going to get into that whole discussion. Anyway. So, yeah, Hunter has sent, or lawyer has allegedly sent a cease and desist letter to Uncle Trump. Wow. And the attacks continue. The attacks allegedly, I got to say allegedly. They allegedly continue. Okay. How do y'all feel about that? Let me know in the comment section. A presidential candidate and the next president of the United States getting a letter from allegedly Hunter's lawyer. Interesting. Very, very interesting. My goodness. Yeah, this is, you just can't make this stuff up, man. You really can't. But like I said earlier, and I've continued to say, all of this is just going to make an even better grand finale in 2024 when that announcement is made. It is going to be glorious to hear those words being spoken, to hear that name, Donald Trump, being said. It's going to be glorious. Absolutely glorious. After all of this going on, all of these shenanigans, all of this BS, all of this crap that we've been going through and been put through, I can't wait. Anyway, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.